What's up, everyone? We're back with some more Godforge. Now, we are going to be getting into one of the latest videos that was released on the official Fateless channel. I'm actually really excited because we have the beta coming up very soon, which is in May. And this is just honestly furthermore pushing the fact and just the construct that I feel that this is going to be the company that drastically shifts the mobile gaming market. And it's just simply because how they're doing things. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it, see what they cooked up and see what they have to say.
Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless. I've been asked to do a video actually, which I'm quite keen to do. So I've been asked to do a video talking about what we should expect in the beta and also how much of what we're seeing is like final, game ready footage. Let's bear in mind that the beta now, we're aiming for May, so a few months away. We've also got our plans to kind of like soft launch around September, full launch by the end of the year.
Oof, that's cutting it.
It's not a lot of time. Okay?
Yeah, that's really not a lot of time, but I actually really like that drive and effort because that means that they're really working hard. There's a lot of work that is going to be happening within that time frame. And the thing about it is that they're doing that soft launch and then going into release. And why I actually like that idea is because that's actually meaning that they want to make sure that the game is working properly so that when they go into their official release, then everybody can have just a streamlined, very seamless, kind of experience. Because again, that initial experience is always going to be one of the most important things because that can predetermine, what gets put out there about your game.
So, I've seen extremes in comments. I've seen the extreme of take your time, deliver the best game you can. I'd rather you deliver a brilliant game.
Yeah, we all rather that.
That's my camp, by the way, as well. I will not deliver a crap game. But if we end up being a year late because I felt like the game was crap or people told me the game was crap, then that's how late we'll be. But I am someone who likes to keep to timeframes, and we are working extremely hard to deliver against the timeframes that we're setting because we want to get the game out there. We want you guys to enjoy it. So the other extreme is I'm seeing people say, just let us play now. What you've got is enough. I want to try it. Why don't you release your game? And I guess I default back to the first statement. I won't release a crap game.
So basically what he's saying, I'll translate. We don't care. No, I'm kidding. But I mean, honestly, in these situations, you do have to kind of decide like what matters the most. And in most cases, I would always argue that when we're talking about game releases and really honestly coming out with a banger and making sure that your game is hitting where it needs to hit, you have to ignore individuals that are trying to influence or flux the idea of giving us the thing now, because just because you have something now doesn't mean you're going to enjoy it. And when people have like crappy products or a crappy game in front of them, they're honestly going to react even worse than what you might be receiving on, the current front end of, hey, give us the game now, we're impatient, etc. Right? I think all things that are good take time, and that is ultimately just the recipe to success, in my opinion.
So what I want to talk to you is about where we're at from what you're seeing so far, and then how hard is it to get to like the endpoint where we want to get to. So we currently have, this is an interesting one, we currently have a launcher that is working on PC, Mac, Android, iOS. All of the platforms really that we
you guys won. I mean, what are we talking about anymore? Like you you guys basically win at this point. Because the other thing is that like you guys would not believe how many games come out and they will only have the beta accessible to Android players or PC players. And I'm gonna be honest, like PC clients are nice, but a lot of the times that we're talking about mobile gamers, there needs to be accessibility on mobile devices. So the other cool thing is that they actually incorporated one of the long lost children platforms, which is iOS. Like I feel like iOS is always put to the side, always forgotten. So it's actually kind of funny that iOS is a part of it. And not even just funny, but it's actually a good thing that iOS is a part of it because they really are making sure that everybody is being included. And I think that that is something that is a key factor to success. They want everyone to be able to experience. They want everyone to be a part of the process.
A launch with, we can already play our version of the game on. And we've got two, tracks of game development. We've got one, which is relatively stable. It's a demo that we're able to show people, show anyone that we want. And then we've got another one where it's like all of the developers are working on it actively on a day-to-day basis, implementing new stuff, which is probably why when you see me show you stuff on these videos, you're seeing the stable-ish version versus seeing the one where there's like loads of new stuff being packed into all the time. So if I go into the experience here on my PC,
with the made with Unity
screen, which I like. Some games don't do that. It's very annoying.
Nice.
Yeah, obviously we've just got like a cinematic which is done. I'm not showing you it, but it is done. I'm gonna live release it at
That's cool.
GDC. So there's going to be a launch event at GDC, which is going to be very cool. Keep an eye on our socials for information about that. It's not like a community event, but if you happen to be in the San Francisco area and are around, then we would love for people to come and be involved. We have like a first-time user experience.
This looks so good, dude.
Placeholder, and a lot of what you're seeing in terms of lighting, shaders, and stuff like that is placeholder. But ultimately, we're moving in the right track to be very ready for beta. Like we could release where we're at with first user experience today, and it would probably be enough for beta. I do want to show you something quickly here in terms of visuals, right? So this screen here, we were literally playing with it yesterday, Sham, Dan and I, and we were like, hold on a minute. It feels a bit dark, and I know it's meant to be a bit of a dark feeling, but I do want to see the enemies better. And the equivalent of dropping a light just down a touch in the main build.
Oh, that probably immensely changed it. Yeah, that's a big difference. Like, you even get to see the baby oil on the other character. Oh my God, dude, that's like so sick. Like, and this is what I actually love, man. Like with turn-based being one of my favorite like genres of gaming, just seeing how they are just being so attentive to every little detail. They're double looking, triple looking, quadruple looking at every single thing to ensuring that it visually is giving the eye-catching, I would say candy, basically, that really honestly makes people want to continue to play a game. They're excited for the next unit coming, or excited to see what the next environment map might look like. These are the things that really matter the most. And honestly, it's usually these types of things like hubs and the characters visibility that actually can be quite off-putting. And I've even seen people like not like a game simply just because they feel like the quality isn't exactly there in those areas. So I feel like the fact that they're constantly going and toying back and forth with this it's absolutely insane. And it's setting the tone, I feel like, for the mobile gaming market as a whole, that if you are going to be a developer, you have to really come in there with the expectation that you are making a quality product. You're not just making something that's going to cash grab.
Dropping the camera down and angling it a little bit more towards
like, look at that back and forth. That's nuts.
Their armor better. And they're the type of things that we're going to be doing in that lead up to beta. And it's basically called the polish phase. And actually, it's the most important
polish phase is pretty big.
All the work you're putting in is how you make it look as good as you possibly can without costing you loads of, like, I guess, computing power. Okay, it's just lighting and shaders and stuff. So this first time user experience is working. This is very placeholder, but it's got the right sort of vibe of what we're after.
You visually can tell what that is.
Here is placeholder, but it's starting to move in the direction that we want it to be. So the type of vibe that we're looking for the Sanctum is kind of this vibe, but this is all placeholder.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like this whole like layout and mapping. It definitely, I feel like once they kind of finish and finalize it, it's definitely going to have a little bit more life into it. But I like how the placement of the interface is. It doesn't seem too cluttered. It's very, very, very readable, I would say. And it definitely kind of gives that vibe, right? There's like a mix of like, this is kind of the starting point of this universe, considering that there are so many different mythologies and factions that exist in the game.
The stuff. The Godforge is completely placeholder, but again, the vibe starts to feel like we want it to feel. So
yeah, I actually like that quite a lot, and that's kind of cool. I love the names here: Mortal, Ancestral, and Eternal. That's huge. I love how that sounds. Like, are you doing your Eternal pools today? Like, that sounds kind of cool. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of people don't realize, like, I was at one point actually going down the pathway of going into like logo design and like just marketing with companies and figuring out like what names could work as far as what you would want to create a brand around. And the name of like specific things are so important. Like, you have to have names that are memorable, that sound cool. And that's the reason why games will start out, they'll be called Project this, but then they actually decide on an official name, and they try to pick a name that socially can be easy to say, might have really cool acronyms. That's just something that, you have to kind of think about.
To try and like create something in the vibe of what we were thinking. Could change, but ultimately, the experience of crunching a crystal, going through and finding your hero, the type of info and stuff is there. But
nice.
Placeholder right now. By the beta, that might be good enough, actually. That might be good enough for the beta, but it definitely won't be the screen we see for launch. At this point, all of these different elements almost certainly will be in the game, actually. And off the battle sort of screen, again, we like the feel of what we're doing here.
I like this. Because what this does is it makes it to where, and this is a metric that I actually was learning. I have a few friends that do game developing, and it's the idea that most people want to have an interface where they don't have to do a ton of clicking. And the cool thing is that this isn't transitioning you to a whole bunch of other screens where you have to then go into an interface. It's all packed into one interface, but it's not cluttered to where you just basically have all of this stuff in your face. And so what you're really getting here is that it's kind of almost like everything is kind of within a pocket, and then this pop-up when you hit that battle is taking you now, giving you 4 or 5 different options, and then that takes you straight to those areas, and then you're just there. So that's actually kind of cool. I really, really like that.
It might end up being it's changed a bit, but ultimately the sort of feel of it feels good.
I like that feel, yeah.
When we get into, like campaigns, so for beta, we're hoping to have 5 maps fully done, ready to utilize. At the moment, we've got 2 which are extremely kind of like good to go with the right hero placements and that type of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, by beta, we want 5. By launch, we want the full 10 for campaign, with all of the assets done. And what's interesting is there's different work streams to it. So we have a group of people creating the assets for a level. We have a group of people then doing like the implementation of those. We have some people doing the landscapes.
Yeah.
Then it starts to come together. Then you get like the lighting guys and the tech artists in, and then you get the guys in to basically control how the heroes operate. Like there's a lot of different elements to it. And if you just concentrate on one, you won't have a game, right? So there's a ton of
there's a ton of work behind that.
Also,
yeah.
Different heroes. There are the same type of number of different elements to do. So just because we've got a lot of people creating 2D concepts into 3D doesn't mean they're game ready, right? So you kind of have to put in the work right across the game to be able to do this stuff. Let's throw a couple of heroes in here. Some are animated, some are not. And that's kind of what I mean, honestly, in terms of the work. But the general feel of the game at this point is close to how we want it to feel. But there's still a lot of stuff to tidy up. Some of the portraits are not right at this point. Some of the UI has changed. We've done a big revamp of it on the main build. So what you're seeing is kind of, I'd say, moving towards maybe 70% there, but not by any means 100%.
I'm not gonna lie, 70% is actually a pretty solid number considering that this game is going to be such a high quality game. We've seen so much from the beginning till now, and the quality has immensely changed. The game is becoming more polished. It's looking more like a game. And I remember even some of the initial comments that I got was like, oh, this isn't gonna be anything. This doesn't look that great. And it's like, well, yeah, this is like, what tech game or games that are in like the tech test phase look like. In any situation, like they never look fully mapped out or finished. It's once you start kind of putting more of the pieces to the puzzle and you start building everything over time, it's going to just collectively look like something. And I think that that's kind of the thing with most things. Like I am a visual artist, so you can start a portrait, for example, like drawing someone, and you doing the base foundation. It might start out not really looking like much. It might look like a whole bunch of lines, but once you start adding in the shading, you use your kneaded eraser to start adding some of those light values, and then before you know it, you now have something that looks like it's popping out of or off of that picture. And so it's just a matter of time and adding the layering. Even sometimes you have to go back in and add another layer of shading so that you're not doing things that's creating things like terminology here, like graphite shine, whereas where you draw too hard with a pencil, you usually layer on top of it so that it creates the layering to get you the shades you want versus you trying to go for just shading in really dark off rip, right? And so that's the same concept here. You really want it to be something that is basically going to allow you to see things over time. And even once the game officially comes out, we're going to see things like newer units and the polishing of the game even further as they get better at what they do. And the thing is that they already have the fundamental values and foundation for a perfect game. Now it's just more so they're just building it, and we're seeing everything kind of come to fruition, which is really nice.
You can see in someone like a Herc here, the jump smash feels pretty good, and I kind of like it in terms of visual. Some of the animations are purely placeholder, like this one, purely placeholder, but still kind of looks pretty cool.
It's like a ranged melee.
onto her for the demo at this point, right? So it's one you, again, he looks pretty sweet. His placement is good. He's using someone else's ability, but it doesn't look terrible.
Yeah.
So when maybe you see some of the stuff that we're showing right now and it doesn't feel quite right, that's because it's not, and it's not intended to be at this point. But by beta, anything we show you, which will be about 100 of the heroes, that's what we're aiming for.
Herc looks so sick.
Will be pretty clean, like by beta, so by May, and that's why we're kind of like holding off on time, because we want it to feel clean, right? We want it to feel like the experience should feel like. And obviously for launch, we'll then have all of the heroes. So right now, it's kind of like a stand-in. What could a campaign boss feel like? This is obviously not finished, right? Look, it looks weird. but it's not
Yeah.
far off the type of vibe we want. I feel like we're a bit close to them. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, but ultimately it's not a million miles away. And you know, I think I've said it right the way through. So I'm being as honest with you guys as I can. We're showing you the development cycle, which is unusual, and because of that,
yeah, that's true.
Stuff, you know, a long time before it's finally ready, and therefore you might be looking at it thinking it looks close enough to be ready. Why are you pushing back the beta? Push back the beta because it's not going to be ready by April when we thought it would. It's going back a bit because we need more time to polish stuff up and make it feel really good. But a lot of the systems are in, like being able to put debuffs on enemies, buffs on us. All of that's working, but it just takes more time to get it done. This guy's dead. Why is he not on the ground? That type of stuff.
Yeah.
Because we don't want that experience for anyone in game. But let this bad boy play it in auto for a second. Hurt brings in the smash. Lady Zoc takes down Cyrus. One Ute gets involved as well, and we move on and we get some stuff. So that's
nice. They got armor and stuff like that too.
Miles away. In terms of the roster screen, so we've got some heroes which are more animated than others. I do have a key where I can properly look at my heroes. I'd say again this screen is kind of close, but it's not finished. It's just the background image is probably going to change. Some of the kind of characters still need a bit more work. Some of them are posed weird, and it's all stuff that we just start to fix really, and start to improve. But you do start to get a feel for how some of these dudes are gonna look in game. That's what the demo's doing. The beta, they will be ready to go. There won't be like a hand hovering like this. It's just the way it is. All of this stuff is the polish phase, which tends to come at the end. And we've got a number of, I don't know if I can show you screens. A number of the different screens, like skills. If I go into upgrade, for example, a number of the UI screens.
Oh, nice. So it brings you closer. So UI shift angles.
A work in progress. And starting to feel close to the vision that we want, but they're not there yet. So I'm hoping that gives you a bit of a picture. The beta will not be the full game. It will be a number of the dungeons. It will be the campaign. That's probably going to be it for gameplay, but it's more about feel and kind of exploration of heroes and leveling them and using them and seeing if they feel good to you. That's
this is sick.
Really for us in terms of our beta. So yeah, beta coming in May. That's the plan. As I say, we will launch when we feel like the game really is ready to be launched, and you guys are going to get the best experience from it. And that's kind of just where it's at. So hopefully that was useful. Hopefully that was helpful.
Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much that. I mean, to be fair, guys, I think that what they're doing and how they're going about it is just ultimately going to give us the better experience. I really genuinely feel like how they're doing things is just so indifferent, and this is such a unique experience. I feel like for those of you guys that have maybe seen this game, just randomly, or you might be coming across this video randomly, guys, I promise you this team is cooking. This is the first time I've been doing content creation for about 8 years now. This is the first game company that I've seen where creators are truly taking matters into their own hands. And I feel like with that being the case, especially for the mobile scene, we're really going to see a game that is going to truly be what players want. And I feel like it's honestly something you should support. I don't feel like we really honestly emphasize that enough. I feel like we support the things that we want to be a certain thing, where we have literally something here that's telling us we're here to be what you want it to be, basically, and it needs more support. I genuinely believe that this project is going to just be insane. We have the beta coming up, so you already know I'm going to be trying to play it. Obviously, the soft launch, we're going to be fully covering from beginning to end. I'm extremely excited to be a part of this process, to be able to even play this game, and even just looking at all the different things that they have coming along. I feel like that's going to be something that's going to be absolutely amazing to be a part of. So, of course, guys, make sure you like and you subscribe to the channel. Check out all the links down below. Join my Zoxiscon Gaming Network. So join my community. There's a ton of different things that I have currently going on, revamping that. Obviously, as you guys come in, you'll be able to have more roles. We'll have news, for Fateless and everything that they have currently going on, as well as my videos will be posted in there as well. So with that being the case, guys, everyone stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.